the Huey. When the US Army had a need for a new utility and medical evacuation helicopter, Bell Helicopter responded with the Model 204. It would be developed into the UH-1, initially known as the HU-1, and that was what gave rise to the nickname Huey.
This is the end. This is the end, my only friend, the end of our elaborate plans, the end of everything that stands, the end, no safety or surprise, the end. I'll never look into your
Huey was used by all of the US Armed Services and countless overseas air arms. More than 16,000 of these remarkable helicopters will be produced. But the type is most indelibly associated with its role in the Vietnam War. The first US Army Hueys arrived in theatre in March 1962, and out there they performed almost all the roles for a rotary wing aircraft that you could think of, including air assault, medical evacuation, general purpose transport, gunship work and so on. Indeed, Hueys alone could undertake almost a complete assault mission in themselves without a need for any other helicopter types. Just over 7,000 UH-1s served in Vietnam. Of those, more than 3,300 were destroyed, and over 2,200 of their crew members lost in action. And this Huey, owned by MSS Holdings, is itself a Vietnam veteran. It was delivered to the US Army in 1972 and it served in Southeast Asia with the 129th Assault Helicopter Company until the following year. It appears today in those markings. And while this one may now be a privately owned civilian machine, Huey remains very much in modern military service. Indeed, the German Air Force and German Army have been extensive users in the modern era. Also the Spanish Army. Gradually in US military service, the Huey has given way to newer helicopter types, the likes of the Airbus UH-72A Lakota. But has there ever been a more famous American military helicopter than this? The sight and the sound hugely distinctive. The aircraft being demonstrated today by Rob Tierney, who has a long association with Hueys. It was Rob who famously was a leading light in the repatriation, or the, well, hardly repatriation because it hadn't been in the UK before, but the bringing over to the UK of a Argentine Huey after the Falklands War. And that example is still airworthy in the UK to this day. It's not this one, it's because this one was brought over by MSS Holdings in 2005, and Phil Connolly is putting together a splendid little collection of Vietnam era helicopters, not just the Huey but also the Hughes OH-6, the Loach that we have on static display, and he's hoping in due course also to add to his fleet an AH-1 Huey Cobra. So there's Rob coming back in. The Huey and the Loach will be departing at the end of the show.
My doctor was up in one civic flight out of New York. It's very jerky.
And as Rob Tierney lands on in the Bell UH-1H, we now have our second international act of today's East Fortune Air Show 2015 to introduce, and Uwe Rammert comes over from Germany to help me talk about a Jordanian team, a very international